Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you for joining us on today's Curiosity Chill. We are studying
Celtic Mythology.
Oh, you love to see it.
Love to see it.
Celtic Mythology, I believe, was inspired by so many of you who've been joining us recently for our Hellblade streams.
Oh, yes.
Hellblade is a story of Sayuna, who is a Celtic warrior, and she is traveling into Helheim and the realms of Norse mythology to save the soul of her lover, Dolinan, who was slain by Vikings.
Yep.
And we want to learn more.
No signal.
We want to learn more about this Celtic mythology. You guys are super awesome. Thank you for being here, and thank you for recommending this. And at the end of the stream today, we will pull what we will study together on next Tuesday's stream, which will be at the same time. And I gotta say thank you to Vices and Discos and to Leslie Red Rody. Thank you for your generous gift sub group hug love.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate you.
So I see a lot of new friends here, people who are joining us for the first time. Thank you so much for kicking it with us. If you want to introduce yourself, please feel free to say hi.
Hi.
We have a super friendly crew here.
Yeah, type a thing in the chat. These are all the best people on the internet, in my humble opinion. I'm grateful to see you, Nadia W. Welcome back for 13 months. And Luke Lemon Art, thank you as well for the 5 gifted subs. If you guys got one of those gifted subs from these awesome gift sub givers or recruiters, you'll notice a button that looks like this. It's down below the video. It says Starter Kit, or there's a link flowing through the chat thanks to our awesome mods that will show you how you can get around our Discord. We've got some subscriber chats, Jericho and Zen Garden, and we would love to have you stop by sometime if you feel like it. So thank you for being here, and thank you for following along for Curiosity Chill.
So I found a few articles about Celtic mythology, and I thought a good place for us to start was with its origin story. Where does it come from?
I'm all about it.
And then I found a whole bunch of cool stuff about the gods and goddesses, legends, and fairies.
Yeah. So we're going to start with this one. This is the overview one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, I got it. And shout out also to Bookworm. I appreciate you sending along the link about fairies. So we're going to do the overview first, and then we'll pull from you guys what you want to learn more about in more detail.
And Llama Lupe, thank you so much for the gift sub group hug.
Llama, what's going on? Good to see you. Every time I think of llamas, I think of this alpaca fur teddy bear that I met one time. It was incredibly soft.
Yes.
So if you guys want to know what the softest thing in the whole world is, I think it's an alpaca. Is an alpaca the same as a llama? No.
They're related,
like cousins?
But not quite the same.
All right. Legends of Celtic mythology. Take it away, beautiful wife.
Although we often think of Ireland in association with the Celts, Celtic lands spread as far as central areas of Europe, from the regions that are now Spain through Switzerland and even into Turkey.
Whoa.
In the early centuries, Celtic mythology survived as a primarily oral tradition, influenced significantly by the geography of its lands. Sagas and legends were passed down from one generation to the next through storytelling. It was only after the Roman conquest that some of these myths were recorded in writing. Even so, that was often done by Christian monks closer to the 11th century, who recorded these stories themselves, but stripped away the original beliefs and earlier religious overtones.
All right, let's get into it. And I want to know, as we jump in, where are you guys tuning in from around the world? Do we have anybody who's from this part of the world in what do we got? Central Europe? Anybody in Spain or Switzerland or Ireland or even Turkey? Welcome aboard. I see the Czech Republic.
Yes, we have friends in Spain and Denmark and Ireland.
And Australia and the Philippines. What's up, ZB Ninja?
France, Denmark, Sweden, Poland.
New Mexico, Oregon, Germany, Lucy's Hoodie. What? The United Kingdom's all over the place in all the chats. Austria, hey Wablu.
Detroit, Michigan.
That Michigan, I love to see it.
Turkey, Russia, Colombia, Finland.
Ohio. Nigeria, hello.
Wow. Brazil, Argentina,
Venezuela.
Ukraine.
Hey, привет. Welcome, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. Let's explore a little deeper. Celtic mythology is divided into 4 cycles: the mythological cycle, the Fenian cycle, Oltolian cycle, and King's cycle. Interesting. Let's find out. Celtic mythology comes from several regions and different tribes. The bulk of them are from Ireland and also Wales. Additional sources include Cornwall, Scotland, and the French region of Brittany. Celtic mythology is divided into 4 cycles, or groups. The first is the mythological cycle, that largely details a number of invasions of Ireland by deities or supernatural beings. Do we have any supernatural beings here? Please,
I know we do.
please type a 1 in the chat if you identify as a supernatural being. The second, the Fenian cycle, revolves around the theme of hunting. In the Fenian cycle, a heroic group led by Fionn mac Cumhail protects the Irish and Scottish lands. Next, the Oltolian cycle tells the tale of the Nuada tribe. If anybody knows the pronunciation can help me, let me know. Through warfare and victory. Finally, the King's cycle is a series of inspiring stories based on real kings. I love to see all you supernatural beings. Thank you for being here. And
I knew it.
I knew it. We were surrounded. The weekly fangirls back for 27 months signed up. How you doing? And I don't know how I am. Thank you for the gift sub to Who Are You, Man? Appreciate you joining. Do you want to read us about Celtic mythology today, Amelia?
Yes. When we look at Celtic mythology today, there are a number of marked similarities between their ancient tales and Christian stories in the Bible. Characters in Irish mythology are varied, but typically include male and female deities, kings and queens, druids and other religious figures, warriors and animals. Among the most well-known are the Dagda, the chief of other deities, and the Morrigan, the goddess of war. These myths were often used as a way of upholding the characteristics and traits that were prized at most by the Celts, as well as demonstrate certain life lessons.
Unfortunately, the long tradition of orally passing down Celtic mythology largely stopped as people in the area were converted to Christianity. Despite this, we can still learn about their incredible stories from writings following the Roman conquests that recorded basic versions of the myths. Indeed, Celtic mythology experienced a revival during the past century. It has even influenced a number of movies, video games, and modern stories, such as Lord of the Rings saga by J.R.R. Tolkien. Anybody else know a story or a movie or a video game that is based on Celtic mythology? When I say Celtic mythology, what comes to your mind, Barry, first? Sonny the Dragon Mummy, welcome back for 21 months. I see The Hobbit, definitely. Cool. Weeping Angel 13, hello to you.
Lord of the Rings.
You guys love Lord of the Rings. Yes. The latest God of War. Skyrim.
Braveheart. Ragnarok.
I think,
Outlander.
Okay.
Druids.
Okay.
Skyrim for sure. Skyrim, my beloved. Legend of Zelda. Elder Scrolls. Pan's Labyrinth.
Very interesting. So we have been studying a lot of mythologies on this stream. We've learned about Norse mythology, which, yes, connects to the Ragnarok tale. We also have explored Roman mythology, Greek mythology, Japanese mythology. So let's see what makes Celtic mythology similar and different from those other things we've learned about. And Mr. Thomas Payne, thank you for being here with your Prime, sir.
So I think we should do a poll as to where we want to dive into next.
That's a great idea. Do you want to tell everybody what the different categories are we've got?
Yeah, so we got 3 different categories that we need your help deciding where to start. Do you want to learn first about the gods and goddesses? Do you want to learn about fairies? Or do you want to learn and hear some myths and legends?
Ooh, It's hard to pick between those three. Those are three great categories.
Yeah.
But if you guys want to join in here, jump in with typing a 1, 2, or 3 in the chat. What should we study first? 1 in the chat for gods and goddesses, 2 in the chat for fairies or the fae, number 3 for myths and legends. And Mo, welcome back for 3 years. Thank you, Mo. 4882.
Whoa, 3 years?
Good time zone to you, friend. Thank you for your awesome support. And Ventus the Owl's back for 6 months, saying mythology is so interesting and they love it. Sheep Thief, thanks for following. With your Prime, thank you for being here. And Cryptid Krista back for 32 months. Chronic Aquatic back for 27. And Cloudy Rabbits for 17 months. Thank you for being here and saying hi. All right. Looks like Myth and Legends is a place to go.
Okay, well then that's going to take us to another poll because there's a whole bunch to choose from.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right, get your polling ready, team. We're gonna poll again. All right. So Celtic Mythology.
No, this one.
beep.
Yes.
This one.
Yes.
Accept all cookies.
Give us the cookies.
All your cookies are belong to us. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so wow.
So those are the ones.
I'm not gonna type all 9 of these in. You guys just shout them out, and we'll just go with a reading of what's going on the chat. Is that cool?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so are you interested in the Children of Lear, in Tir na Nog, in the Banshee, in Cooklane?
Team, pick one of these.
I'm seeing a lot of things for Banshee. That was my first instinct.
You want to start with the Banshee?
Yeah, because I know of Banshees, so I'm interested in learning more about Banshees.
Okay, and I also see a lot of love for this, whatever Cooklane is. Cooklane. All right, I'm going with the Banshee first to start, and then we can come back.
And then Seal People sound pretty cool, too.
Right?
All right.
Let me just make this a little larger here for us so we can read it a little easier. There we go. Ooh, the legend of the Banshee.
When most people think of a banshee, they imagine a floating, spectral figure wailing and generally being extremely frightening. You may also be aware of the old belief that states that banshees are harbingers of death. So, here is the full story of the banshee.
Ooh, are you guys ready for this? I'm feeling a little spooked already. Look at that picture down there.
Yeah.
What is a banshee? A banshee is said to be a fairy, an Irish legend, and her scream is believed to be the omen of death. The scream is also called Caoin, which means keening, and is a warning that there will be imminent death in the family. And as the Irish families blended over time, it is said that each family has its own banshee.
Yo.
Oh, wow. I was kind of hoping there was only one, but
no,
okay.
Each family. A banshee is a disembodied spirit and can appear in any of the following forms. A beautiful woman wearing a shroud.
Sounds pretty good.
A pale woman in a white dress with long red hair.
Not bad.
A woman with a long silver dress and silver hair.
Ooh, super cool. I like that.
A headless woman carrying a bowl of blood that is naked from the waist up.
Not as great.
An old woman with frightening red eyes, a green dress, and long white hair.
The red eyes is a lot for me.
An old woman with a veil covering her face, dressed in all black with long gray hair.
Yeah, that's...
I think out of all of those, the headless woman carrying a bowl of blood, naked from the waist up, is the most unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing what you're looking for in a beautiful woman is usually a head.
Good Karma says apparently I'm a banshee.
You're a banshee. All right, Karma. Well, let us know what's going on.
All right.
Grim Vixen, welcome back 8 months, and Lil Miss Pisces, welcome back for 10.
Well, banshees are often depicted as women spirits with long hair who scream through the night.
Oh, God. Okay.
All right.
Tell me about the origins, team. Origins. Historians have traced the first stories of the Banshee to the 8th century, which were based on a tradition where women sang a sorrowful song of lament for someone's death. These women were known as keeners, and since they accepted alcohol as payment, they were said to be sinners and punished by being doomed to become a banshee. Okay, so somebody's dead, they're singing, they're paid in alcohol, and they're then kind of
doomed. Yeah, okay.
According to the mythology of the Banshee, if she is spotted, she will vanish into a cloud of mist, and this action creates a noise similar to that of a bird flapping its wings. Legend says that the Banshees don't cause death. They only serve as a warning of it. So in a way, they're hooking us up.
Yeah, they're like, oh God.
Yeah, you guys need to know, you're definitely a Banshee. A good amount of you are identifying yourself a fair pay for hard work. Yes. Rogue Armageddon, welcome back for 28 months, saying good evening, good morning, and good afternoon to all of you lovely humans. Moogie Blue, welcome back for 15 months, and Raven Reyes, welcome back for 9 months, which is a Twitch baby. Raise it up right, teach it to vote.
Banshees, the good and the bad. Not all banshees are hate-filled creatures.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, there are some that have strong ties to their family in life and continue to watch over them in death. When they manifest themselves, these banshees appear as beautiful, enchanting women that sing a sorrowful, haunting song which is filled with concern and love for their families. This song can be heard a few days before the death of a family member, and in most cases, the song can only be heard by the person for whom it is intended. A good banshee appears as a beautiful, enchanting woman, yes, filled with...
I mean, that's cool art.
Yeah, that's really cool art.
I mean, but also means death is coming for someone that you know.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's kind of like a consolation prize. It's like, hey, a beautiful woman's here to see you.
Sorry.
I hate to break it to you.
Yeah.
At least she's not headless with a bowl of blood. BB Gun Art, thank you for being here and resubscribing. And I see Deviant Badger back for 3 whole years as well. Thank you for 36 months of support, friend.
On the other side of the coin, we have the angry and scary banshee that most of us are familiar with. During their lives, these women had reasons to hate their families and appear as distorted and frightening apparitions filled with hatred.
Ugh.
The howls emitted by these banshees are enough to chill you to the bone, and rather than appearing to warn a family member, these banshees are celebrating the future demise of someone they loathed.
Oh, vindictive banshees.
Yeah, so be nice to your family members. Specifically, if they're a lady who likes to sing.
Yeah, right? Other Irish mythology stories relating to the Banshees say that she is the ghost of a young girl that suffered a brutal death, and her spirit remains to warn family members that a violent death is imminent. It is said that this banshee appears as an old woman with rotten teeth and long fingernails. She wears rags and has blood-red eyes that are so filled with hate that looking directly into them will cause imminent death. This banshee's mouth is always open as her piercing scream torment the soul of the living. Good morning, everyone. Just hope you're enjoying your cup of tea.
Yeah.
According to some tales, there are evil banshees that derive pleasure from taking a life, and they actively seek out their victims and wail at them to the point where a person commits suicide or goes insane.
Whoa.
There are even banshees that can tear people to shreds, and these horrific apparitions are the feature in modern-day horror films. Yes.
Yeah.
Anybody seen a banshee-like entity in a scary movie?
Yes.
It is important to note that banshees do not bring death, however, they only warn of it and give the family time to prepare for the inevitable. I would rather not know.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
I don't know.
If the way I'm going to find out death is imminent is that a horrifying, blood-red, hate-filled old woman with bad teeth is screaming at me,
Yeah.
I'd be like, thanks for the heads up, but no. I'd rather just be caught unaware. Hidden knowledge.
No one is actually sure where banshees get their knowledge of a person's death from. One theory suggests that each family member has his or her own personal observer who follows them around and reports back to the banshee. However, this is a belief that is slowly dying out as the tale of the banshee as is the tale of the Banshee, which is now regarded as nothing more than a spooky bedtime story.
Yeah, until you see the old lady in the woods.
But many centuries ago, belief in Banshee was more widespread in Ireland, and being a disbeliever was said to be blasphemous. Perhaps you have a grandparent who still holds this belief. For the rest of us, the legend of the Banshee falls into myth and superstition category. So, if you are enjoying a night out in Ireland and hear a piercing scream, it is unlikely to be the Banshee offering a warning. Or maybe it is.
Oh, sweet. Well, team. Well, I saw Elysium ask also the question about the lizard. There was a lizard in the studio yesterday, friends, and
Yes.
I'm pretty sure he's gone because I've looked absolutely everywhere a lizard could be, and he's not there. So I think we just had a temporary guest visiting. Bunny Wee, thank you for using your Prime. I appreciate you, Clomo, for being here for 27 months. Appreciate you. One more until the magic number. And your birthday's coming up. Happy early birthday, Clomo. And we got Re3 cheering, saying Celtic mythology is incredibly interesting. It always baffles me how people created these stories and they're still relevant now. Thanks for streaming today. Thanks for being here, Ree. And Lillard Juicy K, thank you for the big cheers. So do you want to do another myth?
Yeah, let's do another myth.
All right, team.
Which myth?
Shout them out. What do you see here? We got Children of Lear, Tir na Nog, Chichikulilin. I don't know about that. I mean, this man is holding a big piece of earth. Like he's
Seal
got
people.
mountains. Salmon of Knowledge. Salmon of Knowledge.
Salmon of Knowledge is pretty good.
Seal people is getting a lot of asks.
Yeah.
And then this one, Tir na Nog. The Cattle Raid of Cooley. 5 Waves of Invasion. These all feel like quests, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we'll go for seal people, but then I gotta know about Salmon of Knowledge afterwards.
Okay,
Is
and
that cool?
then we should go to gods and goddesses, because I'm seeing a lot of love for that too.
Gods and goddesses next. Okay, seal people coming right up.
All right, seal
Ding, ding.
people.
The seal people. Selkies. Peppered throughout Irish and Scottish, Icelandic and Scandinavian mythology and folklore are stories about seal people, also called Selkies, Silkies, Saklis, or Roan. Seal people are said to be cursed with a constant longing for what they do not have. When they are swimming in the water as seals, they yearn to be on land, and when they walk on 2 legs as human, they long to be in the sea. They can transform from one creature to another by shedding their seal skin and alternatively putting it on again. Tell me about Neil Mac Conundrum.
There is one ancient Celtic story featuring Neil Mac Codrum, a Scottish fisherman. He was traveling along the coast when he spotted a group of nude women dancing under the moon. When he stepped on a piece of driftwood, he alerted his presence to the women, who ran over to a pile of furs, slipped them on, and dove into the sea. However, Neil McCodrum was able to grab the last sister's sealskin before she could put it on. Although she pleaded with him to give it back to her, Neil knew about the Selkies from old tales, and he refused. Man. He hid her sealskin, and the woman was forced to stay with him and become his wife. That
Whoa.
sucks. Wow.
I mean,
That's like, Neil. No.
Neil, bro.
No.
Neil, no.
That's not cool. After some time, she gave Neil a son and a daughter, both sporting webs between their fingers and toes. They grew older as the Selkie women grew more wistful, though she was a good, obedient wife. One day, the children came running to her with a piece of fur, excited to show her what they had found. Their mother was overjoyed to have her sealskin back. She told her children about the Selkie race and then warned them that she had to leave them that very night. After Neil had fallen asleep, the Selkie woman took her sealskin to the water's edge. She bade her children farewell, but she told them that they would be able to hear her singing from time to time, as they were half Selkie themselves. Then she slipped into the water, and the children headed home. In the morning, Neil McCodrum was saddened to hear his children tell him that their mother had returned to the sea. He missed her very much, but his children kept him company for the rest of his life, except for the nights when their mother's song called them to come to her and swim through the waves. There are many Celtic legends that tell of children being born with webbed fingers and toes, but none so famous as the McCodrum siblings.
Wow. This is super cool. The moderators have the link to all of these awesome myths that if you guys would like to explore them on your own, we can. I'm going to hit the Salmon of Knowledge real quick because I just need to know. I actually really love salmon, and let's see what we can learn. Salmon of Knowledge. Everybody please type Salmon of Knowledge into the chat. The legend of the Salmon of Knowledge, or Salmon of Wisdom, is an ancient tale of Fionn mac Cumhaill, Mac meaning son of, who was the leader of the heroic band of warriors and hunters, the Salmon of Knowledge. These hunters were called the Fianna. Fionn is one of the greatest heroes in Celtic mythology, and it all came about because of a remarkable salmon. Poet and warrior. Fionn's father was a warrior, and young Fionn was also training to become one. To increase his learning, he went to live with a poet named Finnegas. This was the custom in those days. Poets were considered to be wise men who could teach the young men the ways of the warriors. Finnegas was known to be one of the wisest men in Ireland. He had read books as well as written poetry. Finnegas lived close to the River Boyne and had heard stories that ancient druids had claimed that there was a remarkable salmon living in a still pool shaded by a magical hazelnut tree. The salmon had eaten the hazelnuts, and they had passed on to him the knowledge of the world. The druids prophesied that anyone catching and eating salmon would acquire all that knowledge for themselves. Many had tried and failed to catch this golden-skinned magical fish, but Finnegas was fascinated by the legend and spent many years attempting to catch the wily old fish known as the Salmon of Knowledge, and so became the wisest man in the world. Catching the Salmon of Knowledge. One day, Finnegas saw the biggest salmon he had ever seen swimming in the River Boyne. Realizing that this was the famous fish, he immediately tried to catch it in his net. But he tried to avoid looking into its eyes, as the story told that anyone doing so would fall deeply asleep. Suddenly, the salmon leaped into the air, and Finnegas could not avoid its gaze, and immediately fell fast asleep. Okay, Magikarp vibes. By this time, Fionn had seen what was happening and quickly woke Finnegas before the salmon escaped. This time he was prepared and asked Fionn to fetch him a cloth to cover his eyes. For hours he tried to catch the Salmon of Knowledge, and finally, after a long and frantic struggle, just as night fell, he succeeded. Too exhausted to cook the salmon, he asked Fionn to do it, but warned him not to eat any of it, not even the smallest taste. Fionn agreed and cooked the fish over a fire. When he was about to serve it to Finnegas, he noticed a bubble in the skin and without thinking broke it with his thumb. It was so hot that it burned, and he quickly put his thumb in his mouth to ease the pain. When he took the fish to Finnegas, the old poet noticed something different about his young pupil. A wisdom that had not previously been there. The Blister of Knowledge. He asked Fionn if he had eaten any of the salmon, and truthfully he denied it, but explained how he had burned his thumb on the fish and sucked it to help the pain. Finnegas realized that it was in the blister of the skin of the fish that all the knowledge had been, and Fionn had acquired it. He was disappointed, but accepted that this was Fionn's destiny. So it was when Fionn grew up, he became a great warrior, a wise poet and leader of the Fianna, and most heroic and memorable warriors in the history of Ireland.
Wow. That's really interesting.
Very cool.
That's really cool.
Thank you, Salmon of Knowledge.
Yes.
So we're going to move on to gods and goddesses, as the prophecy foretold. Thank you, everybody, for being here with us as we study Celtic mythology. And at the end of today's stream, we will poll what subject we'll study together on next week's stream. Lady Venom, welcome back for 6 months. Celtic mythology. So this link is on mythopedia.com/Celtic mythology, and I gotta say, of all the websites we've found about mythology, this is probably one of the coolest ones. So if you guys are into it, check out this website for any kind of mythology that you want to learn more about.
They don't have all of them, though, to be honest.
No, they don't have all of them, but they got a lot.
Yeah. So
Celtic gods and goddesses. Celtic gods. Shrink this and scoot it over. All right, let's learn.
Explore the Celtic pantheon and rediscover the classic Irish, Welsh, and British gods, including the Dagda, the Morrigan, Lugh, Danu, is that an N? Cernunnos, Brigid, and more. If and when we mispronounce these names and you know how to pronounce them correctly, please feel free to share.
And Cyber6 Data 7, welcome back for 24 months. Loving Celtic stuff, so interesting. Thank you for 2 years of support on Twitch. Major deities. Dagda. Dagda was the chief of the Irish Tuatha De Danann, god of life and death, agriculture and fertility. A learned advisor and master of druidic magic, he possessed a cauldron that provided plenty, a massive club that granted life or death, and an enchanted harp that ordered the seasons. Cernunnos. Thank you for that. Morrigan.
The fearful phantom queen known as the Morrigan was the Irish goddess of death, discord, and war.
Discord, like where our subscriber chats are?
She was portrayed both as a single entity and as three sisters who could issue terrifying prophecy and foretell the deaths of warriors and kings.
Luke. Right? Luke? What do we think? Luke?
Luke.
Do I say the G sound? Luke. Luke of the Long Arm was a young Irish lad who sought revenge for his father's unjust death. A master of all skills, he led the Tuatha De Danann to victory against the Fomorians. His death marked the decline of his tribe's presence in Ireland. Chutulain.
The great hero of the Ulster Cycle, Chulainn, was a man of great passions whose skills were rarely matched in battle. A proud warrior, he could fight back hordes of enemies with unmatched rage.
Ooh, unmatched rage. I want to see if I can get a picture of this dude here.
Okay, so Haster of Yellow says the GH at the end has no sound, so it's just Lu.
Oh, it's just Liu. Mm-hmm. All right, thank you very much.
And it's Cuchulainn.
Cuchulainn. Danu. Danu was the mysterious Celtic mother goddess and ancestor of the Irish Tuatha De Danann. It was from her that the tribe took its name. Little is known about Danu, though she may have some connection to the Danube River. Other theories hold that she was a wind or earth goddess that looked after her nomadic tribe.
Cernunnos. The horned god Cernunnos was a mysterious Gaelic deity associated with the woodlands. Though little is known about Cernunnos's role in Celtic mythology, folklorists and neo-pagans have constructed a new mythic tradition around his image.
Brigid. Brigid the Exalted One was the Irish goddess of spring, fertility, and life. She reigned over Imloch, a winter holiday that marked the beginning of the Irish year. Tales of Brigid were told in every corner of Ireland, and aspects of her lived on in the figure of Saint Brigid of Kildare.
Angus. Angus was the chief poet of the Tuatha de Danann and son of Dagda. His music and poetry charmed women, inspired kings, and won his enemies property from under their noses. He was later charmed himself by Caer Ibormeth, the woman of his dreams.
Not so bad.
So if we can click on these different ones and get more information about each of them.
Oh, cool. Well, let's keep on the overview, and then we can see if there's any we want to jump deeper into.
Okay.
I see Arwen, which is a name I recognize from Lord of the Rings, but no information there. Kaelich. The Kaelich was a mysterious ancient figure in Scottish and Irish lore. In addition to being the goddess of winter and old age, she was a trickster who assisted those dwelling in the harsh winters of the north. Speaking of tricksters, Amelia and I have been watching a lot of Loki recently. Don't spoil it for us. We're on the 5th of 6th episodes.
Yep.
But shout out to all the Loki fans out there. Where my trickster's at.
Gwydion. Gwydion Fab Don was a magician in the Mabinogi, an advisor and father figure to his nephew Liu, whose magic often helped those around him, but frequently had unintended consequences in the long term.
And Mebd. Mebd was the queen of Connacht in the Ulster Cycle, whose passions and ambition put her well above most men in Ireland. She clashed with the king Conchobar of Ulster, grandfather of Cuchulainn?
Cuchulainn.
I do like Detroit Become Human. For Melina, thank you for joining us. No need for the caps, though. Babbed Battlecrow was one of the three sisters of the Morrigan, Irish goddess of war and death, who sowed fear and discord in combat and could turn the tide of battle.
Nuada of the Silver Hand was the first king of the Tuatha de Danann. Well liked and wise, yet he was forced to give up the throne after he lost his hand. His successor, however, was so unjust that a silver hand was made for him so he could retake the throne.
Whoa. And then we've got some minor deities like Herne the Hunter and Taranis and Niet, the Irish god of war, discerning deity. So, I like the stories.
Yeah, I like the stories too.
Do you guys want to learn about some more myths where we can get into these characters like in a more narrative form instead of just listing their things for you? Or would you like to learn about Irish fairies? I'm going to do a little mini poll here. More myths or fairies? 1 in the chat for more myths, 2 in the chat for fairies. Of any kind of spelling.
And Amesley Cat, welcome back for 4 months. Thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Yo, thanks for being here. And it's RX. Thank you for the gift sub to Little Mono. Appreciate you. Thanks kindly. All right, fairies clearly win the day. Shout out to... There we go. Yep. Sweet, sweet. Are you ready?
Yep, are you?
Medium. Irish fairies.
There you go.
Here we go. Accept those cookies into our lives. And I want to shout out to Bookworm Tales for finding this link for us about Irish fairies.
Although dozens of nations have fairy folklore, Ireland has one of the strongest traditions. Contrary to what you may have heard, there is no linear path regarding tracing the development of such folklore in Ireland. Typically, fairy folklore is a combination of Celtic, Greco-Roman, and Germanic elements. As a result, while the ancient Celts may have had their own folklore, such as Tuatha De Danann, stories about fairies, such as leprechauns, are associated with Ireland came much later.
I love leprechauns, just so y'all know. Born on St. Patrick's Day, I'm all about leprechauns.
As you'll discover, Irish fairies seldom resemble the traditional depiction of fairies. Artwork featuring flying beings with wings was created in the 19th century. Irish fairies possess supernatural powers, such as the ability to fly without wings.
Ooh, whoa. History of Irish fairies. In the era when the Celts were still pagans, storytellers, also known as the Senchi, remembered and recited a variety of Irish legends featuring supernatural beings such as fairies. In the age of Christianity, the mixture of Celt and Christian folklore was combined into many of the stories told today. Look at that one. Mm-hmm. A little spooky, but overall nicely backlit.
Yeah.
It looks like butterfly wings. Tales of the Tuatha De Danann go back thousands of years. Translated as Tribe of Danu, they were a race of people that possessed incredible, almost godlike powers. According to legend, they ruled Ireland from the early 19th century BC until the end of the following century. The tribe was defeated by the Milesians, so they fled to the city underground. After that, they became known as the Down City and had children with the likes of Fionn Mac Comhail, also known as the Airshee, right? We learned that I got the heads up early. Also known as the Airshee, these underground people became smaller over generations. The tales of these diminutive figures is in line with the Celtic tradition of believing in tiny people forced into hiding by hordes of invading humans. Other figures, such as the Puka, are possibly from Celtic pagan times. The Puka is associated with the Samhain festival.
And Angela, hello! Thank you so much for stopping by and joining us.
Hey, what's up? Thanks for learning about the Fae with us.
In the post-Christian era, other tales emerged, including the legend of the Banshee. There are also accounts of this female spirit dating as far back as the 14th century. Indeed, it is likely that the Banshee is pre-Norman mythology. You may be surprised to learn that the Leprechaun is probably a relatively recent fairy. More on that later. The first mention of these little people in the English language was apparently in 1604. In the early modern era, belief in Irish fairies was still relatively widespread. Tales of various unusual creatures were told and believed in Dublin well into the 19th century, while the belief remained strong in the western parts of Ireland until the middle part of the 20th century. There are a handful of stories that speak of sightings in the 21st century.
The fairy realm, filled with true hope faith for 40 months.
Whoa,
Yo,
40 months.
Let's get some serious mod love flowing through this chat. Appreciate you, team, and appreciate you, True Hope Faith. Thank you for being here for 40 months. And Emma's Smurf, thank you for being here for 7.
Also, Leslie Red
Samhain.
Brody. Yeah, Samhain says.
Samhain.
Samhain.
We learned that when we were learning about the holidays, right?
Yes.
Thousands of years ago, people believed that the fairy realm was located in the hollow hill where the Tuatha De Danann were forced to flee. It is a magical portal which allows gods and fairies to come and go as they please between worlds. Another concept in the old Celtic tradition was that of the fairy realm located in a place called Tir na Nog, which means the land of the young. This wonderful land could be found across the sea from the west of Ireland, and those who lived there avoided death and remained eternally young. Sounds a little bit Tir na Naug, says Emma Smurf. Thank you. Appreciate. Other tales suggest that the legendary Irish hero Fionn MacCumhaill lived in a place known as the Hill of Allen in County Kildare. However, there are suggestions that fairies made themselves known all around Ireland. Possible locations included the far west of Kerry, Lough Gur, and the small patch of untilled land near the Burren in County Clare. Let's learn about the types of Irish fairies before we do a pop quiz.
Okay. Well, we learned about the Banshee before, also known as the Banshee or the woman of the fairy. The Banshee is a harbinger of death. According to legend, she appears to certain Irish families to warn them of a pending death. In the 17th century text memoirs of Lady Fanshawe, the Banshee is described as a woman in white with a ghastly pale complexion and white hair. She appears as a wailing spirit and sometimes wears blood-stained clothing of the person who is about to die.
A leprechaun. The leprechaun is arguably the most famous Irish fairy of them all. They are earth fairies that specialize in shoemaking. Leprechauns are known for being extremely small, wearing green clothes, and hiding treasure. Despite their popularity, the first accounts of leprechauns don't appear in English literature until the early 17th century. There is a suggestion that they appeared in the adventure of Fergus MacLetty as early as the 7th or 8th century. In that text, Fergus, the king of Ulster, discovered three water sprites and asked them for the power to swim underwater. However, this Lucarpain, small water sprite, bears little resemblance to the modern-day depiction of leprechauns. According to W.B. Yeats, in his 1888 book Fairy and Folk Tales of the Irish Peasantry, leprechauns are small, withered old men. The popular image of these little men also suggests they are ill-tempered and mischievous. Tell me about the Puka.
Puka. Also spelled Puka, this Irish fairy is one to fear because he appears after nightfall and can transform its shape into all manner of horrific forms. There are various tales of the Puka, which tell of its ability to change into bats, eagles, dogs, goats, or black horses. In the middle of the night, the Puka may destroy crops and terrify livestock, but not all stories are negative. In Ancient Legends, Mystic Charms and Superstitions of Ireland, written by Lady Wilde in 1887, she writes about how a Puka helped a young man named Phaedrig enjoy a life filled with joy and prosperity. He made friends with the spirit, who in turn helped him thresh the corn. Phaedrig was so happy that he created a special suit of clothes for the Puka. The spirit disappeared, but on the day of Phaedrig's wedding, he found a goblet of wine. Phaedrig guessed it was a gift from his old friend and drank it. He married the bride and enjoyed happiness and prosperity for the rest of his days.
Oh. We've also got the Dolinan. This Irish fairy's appearance as a ghostly horseman and is associated with the country Silgo and County Down. A number of people claim to have seen the Dolinan as it rode past. It is depicted as a headless horseman who holds his head under his crook of his arm. The head apparently glows, so the Dullahan uses it as a lantern to help guide him in the night. This sounds familiar to another story I've heard. According to legend, this fairy is capable of looking into its head and seeing the home of a dying person. In a rather macabre twist, the Dullahan uses a human spine as a whip.
Whoa.
Ooh, that's a different kind of headless horseman, huh? And then lastly we have
Changelings. The legend of the changelings is popular throughout Europe, especially in Ireland. These creatures are the deformed children of fairies who are abandoned. The parents tend to swap the changeling with a human baby, and these creatures are described as sickly and abnormal. They either fail to pick up language, or else their language skills are remarkably advanced. Some changelings are constantly hungry and always crying. The W.B. Yeats poem, The Stolen Child, was inspired by tales of fairies stealing human children and leaving changelings in their place.
Whoa.
The tale of these unwanted fairy babies continue to inspire literature and even movies in the modern era. The famous movie Labyrinth acknowledged the famous work of Maurice Sendak, who wrote about the changelings in Outsider over there in 1981.
Wow. So, real quick, when it comes to fairies, do you think that you identify most with a changeling, a Dolinan, a Puka, a Leprechaun, or a Banshee? Which category of fae are you? Banshee, harbinger of death, scary screaming woman, Leprechaun, mischievous ill-tempered old man, that's me. Puka, which can transform mysteriously into bats, eagles, dogs, goats, or horses in the middle of the night to terrify livestock. Or the Dolinan, the headless horseman vibe, using its head as a lantern, or a changeling. The salmon of obliviousness.
I mean, I would say for me, I'd probably the Puka.
You're more of a Puka?
I'm a Puka, yeah.
Yeah, you strike me as more of a Puka.
I mean, my hair is long, so I could be a Banshee.
No,
but...
don't scream at me. You do like to sing, though.
I do.
Hey, R-Animate, thank you for these positive vibes, yo. Appreciate you.
Hope you feel better soon.
Yeah, sending you some healthy energy. Get some good rest, plenty of fluids. And Too Kawaii for you, welcome back for 4 months. And Emma Smurf for 7. Thank you, thank you.
All right, friends.
You know what time it is. Pop quiz time.
Type something that you learned today on Curiosity Chill.
Believe it or not, I'm literally just looking for one fact. One thing that you learned on today's stream. Welcome aboard. Oh, wow. Yes, okay. There are headless banshees, yes. That's, hazelnuts are full of knowledge.
Yep.
Blisters are full of knowledge.
Only on the Salmon of Knowledge.
Only on the Salmon of Knowledge.
That Neil guy was a jerk. Yeah, that's true. I agree.
Yeah.
Spain was part of the Celtic region. Mm-hmm. You learned the tale of the Salmon of Knowledge. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Every family has their own banshee. Mm-hmm. The spine whip.
Yes.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Selkies shed their skin to become human and then can transform back into seals.
I thought that was interesting that their plight was that when they were in the water, they always wanted to be on land, and when they were on land, they always wanted to be in the water. It's like the equivalent of the grass is always greener on the other side.
That leprechauns are a type of fairy.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That there are different breeds of banshees.
Yes, indeed. This is very cool. Thank you guys all for participating. I'm glad you can be here. And Fat Knuckle, thanks for joining for the first time. Welcome, welcome. Oh, I appreciate your nice message. I had a lot of fun playing Connor and Amelia with the Tracys. Glad you guys like Detroit. Thank you guys for being here. Awesome. And then we got leprechauns make shoes. Yes, they're cobblers by trade.
So there's plenty more information if you would like to dive deeper into Celtic mythology. Each of these websites has so much more information. We just barely skimmed the surface.
Yes, and thanks again to our moderators for getting those links out to you guys. If you want to read on your own, please do. And Grim Gaming Reaper says, fun fact, lizards in Irish lore symbolize the shadowy plane of manifestation where events are constantly changing shapes and patterns. If you see a lizard on your journey, be alert to all below the surface activities going on around you. Thank you, Grim Gaming. There's definitely some lizardy vibes in my life right now. Mm-hmm. So we have to decide, team, what it is we will study together next Tuesday. At 1 hour earlier than whatever time it is for you right now, we start our Curiosity Chills, and we're going to study whatever you are into.
Yeah, so type something into the chat that you're interested in studying. I see bats.
Bats are back on the program.
Bats are back. Tarot cards.
Oh, tarot could be cool. Tarot.
Lots of love for bats.
Ooh.
Aztec mythology.
Okay. Aztec.
We did Egyptian and Greek mythology.
Yes, and we are currently getting our previous Curiosity Chill streams uploaded to YouTube. They will be going up in batches of 3 every Thursday. So if you guys want to tune into some previous ones, if there's a category you want to study, or maybe you missed a stream, they're going to be up there. Like vampires, for instance, is one that's being uploaded on Thursday. Aha! I see. Honestly, anything, you're all about it. Backs are back. Let's get 2 more ideas up on here.
Self-care.
Mathematics. Well, let's go into mathematics. Or another one, the Titanic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. That sounds good. That's 5. Let's poll them.
All right. Type 1 if you're interested in learning about bats, 2 for tarot cards, 3 for Aztec mythology, 4 for mathematics, or 5 for the Titanic.
Ooh, let me know, team. Type a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 into the stream chat on Twitch. And thank you again for joining us on this stream today. We had a lot of fun learning with you guys. These are some of Amelia and I's favorite streams. And let's say what's going on next up. Well, next up is Friday.
Yeah, Friday where we're hanging out. Maybe we're going to check out some Bridge of Spirits.
Yeah, what do you guys think about Bridge of Spirits? You want to play that on Friday? We're thinking about checking that out. And then on Saturdays, we're going to play Mass Effect 2.
Legendary Edition.
Continuing the Legendary Edition. If you want to watch our playthroughs up on YouTube as well, ! ME in the chat will get you there. Man of Medan, we have also played, ! Man of Medan in the chat will get you a link to that. We're playing Hellblade, which kind of prompted this whole Celtic mythology exploration on Sundays, and this Sunday will be the grand finale of that game. So if you want to join us, it's going to be awesome. Starting 1 hour later than whatever time it is for you right now, and we will be playing Life is Strange 3 True Colors starting on October 3rd after we finish Hellblade.
And yes, Holly, we played Erica. We really enjoyed that game. We played it with Austin Wintry, who is the composer of the game.
Yeah, I think ! Erica in the chat will get you the link there. And let you know that we have a whole bunch of playlists up on our YouTube. Any of these games, you can watch us. Our full playthroughs of these games are up on YouTube right now! YT. And a big thumbs up to Super Scree for helping us get these playlist going for our more recent streams. It's awesome.
Yes, and I see Bunny Wee is asking about Resident Evil Village. You can check out our playlist right now on YouTube. !
RE Village or ! Village or ! RE8. I did so many permeations of it. Bless you, Amelia. It's Bats, team.
All right.
Bats has been on the list for 3 weeks in a row, always coming in second place, but today's the day. Bats for the win. Congratulations, Bats. I'm Batty. We have one more poll, which is where shall we raid, team? What's a raid, Amelia, if you've never done one?
A raid is where we're all going to teleport, magically port our way to another streamer's channel together. And when we get there, we're going to shower them with a bunch of positive emotes and hit the follow button if you like what they're doing. But first, we have to poll where we're going to teleport and transport and port ourselves.
Yeah, it's very important. It's very important to align your teleportation before you send off into space.
Do we want to see someone making a crochet pony, which sounds pretty awesome?
Yeah, pretty cool.
Singing and acoustic tunes, or Minecraft?
Some good old Minecraft. Thank you guys for being here. And again, thank you to our awesome mod team, our lieutenants. You guys are great. Thank you for being here and for supporting our streams. It means a lot to us that you want to learn with us, because Amelia and I like to learn, and you guys come up with the coolest things to learn about. So next week, we will be learning about bats.
Bats.
I changed this up so it's ready to go for our next stream. Bats. Sweet. All right. Making a crochet pony. I understand. It's hard to say no to making a crochet pony. Thank you, Pillow-Cat. All right, here we go. It's happening. It's official. That's a huge percentage lead. And let's get the raid going here. Sweet. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Thank you for your nice vibes. All right. We're going to raid over. And if you like what they're up to, please drop some follows on them. Show some love. And, use all your most colorful emotes, okay? Let's go see what's happening with this crochet pony. Mm-hmm. And Project Sakura, thank you for being here with a gift sub to Friendly Taurus. Welcome, Friendly Taurus. Thanks for being here. And check out the starter kit. If you're here and you're new, the starter kit will show you around the channel how you can get to our subscriber chats and all those awesome things. It looks like this. It's a panel right below the video or the link in the chat. Thank you again. You guys are great news. It's time for the raid. My name is Bryan.
My name's Amelia.
And this is our Twitch. We'll see you soon, friends. Join us on Friday for some Kenna Bridge of Spirits. All right, let's raid. 3, 2, 1, raid!